So fill up your cup as you listen in. Wake up in the morning with Shelly on WAPN. On WAPN. On WAPN.
Good Wednesday morning, the last day of the year. Wow, 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 wow. What can I say? It has been a year. And I was just, I love to in the morning when I like to get up, get in here, kick it in high gear, get a lot of stuff done. And I like to watch different videos or whatever, reels, whatever you want to call them, about stuff. And so today, I was looking at the end of the year stuff and just reflecting, and it said it's scriptural that you are supposed to remember. And I was like, I always feel like they tell you not to remember, that you should like forgive people and you should forget. I don't know. But I just feel like about the remembering thing. And it said it's very important to remember what God has done for you. And I was like, okay, I like that. I like that. And so it said, go back into your reels, go back into your Facebook posts, go back into your notes, wherever you write stuff of, maybe you're a journaler, maybe you're a stickier like me, who knows what you are, but to go back and reflect on 2025 of the goodness of the Lord and the things that he brought you through, the things that he did when you least expected him, how he showed up when you couldn't even show up, all those things, how he brought you through situations that you really didn't want to be brought through, and maybe had to drag you through with your ponytail, but when you got you through it, you went, wow, I really needed that. Maybe the testimony of when you got that bad doctor's report and it just did not look good and you didn't see any way that it was going to be turned around. But God, you are still here. You are still standing strong. You are still doing it. And so I was just thinking about all the things, and I wish I would have journaled better or stickied better or kept better things. I am a person that I don't want to be negative or put it out there. So like when something I'm going through, yes, I did tell you guys that I was going through an infection. I didn't tell you how many times I went through it this last year and a half. I didn't tell you the nitty gritties, but I kind of wish I would have done better about writing it down or sticking it or whatever I do so that I can see the goodness of the Lord and how far he brought me through. Even as far as a vehicle, if you know me, I was perfectly content with my vehicle. I had a great vehicle. That was my ride or die. That was it. And I was perfectly fine. I even told Tim, I will drive this until it dies, unless it needs like a couple $1,000 in it. It's going to be my last car. It's going to be it. Well, Tim got me an upgrade. And yes, that was so thoughtful of him, and I appreciate it so much. And it was a deal that he would have been dumb not to get. It was an unbelievable thing that happened. And I struggled. I didn't want to use the car. I didn't get comfortable. I didn't put my stuff in the car. If you know me. I carry stuff. I'm a bag lady. I didn't want to put anything in the car. Then I was going to keep both vehicles just in case I needed it. I always felt like I had to have that. It was, I don't know, a crutch. I don't know what it was. And then I remember the day that God told me to sell it. And I was like, what? No. And God said, why are you holding on to that? I blessed you. And I was right. Oh my gosh, you did bless me. And he said, now you be a blessing to another family. And, it was funny because I had a couple ideas of what I thought I was going to do, and God did the best plan. So I love it when he allows you to go through the whole ABCD all the way to Z procedure of whatever it is. And I know a car seems like a really dorky thing, but it was something to me. My health was something that I never had to experience. I had been sick before in my life. I'm not saying I've never been sick, but it was done and over. This was something that was a lifestyle for me. And so that was weird. But I look back and I'm thinking about how he brought me through all those things. He brought me through relationships. He brought me through illness. He brought me through finances. He brought me through sickness. He brought me through the radio station. He brought me through equipment. I could label, you could go back and look at everything and see the goodness of God. And so, yes, we need to remember the things he brought us through, the struggles, the pains, the hurts, and all that, because he brought you through it. And so I thought, wow, I'm going to do better. I was trying to be more intentional. Now, in 2024, I was really intentional. I had a calendar up on the wall, and I wrote down all my stuff, and I had goals every month, and blah, 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 blah. And then that's when I got the infection. And I just stopped in my tracks because I just didn't have the oomph to get up and go, I thought. I did. I just was being a pity party. Let's just get real. I was having a pity party, and I was the one that was invited, and I enjoyed it. And so then in 2025, I did not put one thing on that calendar. And I actually just took it down off the wall to throw it away. And I stood there with a blank calendar. Now, I have other calendars that I write all the things that I did and all the places I've been and all the volunteering I've done and all that. But this is my intentional calendar. And it was blank. And that just hit me in the face and said, well, how'd that work out for you? It didn't work out for me. It did not work out for me. I am intentional. I am a goal setter. I am trusting God with all things. I guess for me, when I wrote it on that wall, it was accountability. And I just didn't want to have that accountability this last year. I wanted to get through it and not remember it. I guess that's what my whole thing was. And God reminded me when I was removing that blank calendar today from the wall, he said, you're still here. You're still showing up. I still have you. So even though you didn't put it on that wall, I'm going to show you and tell you and remind you of the goodness of what I've done this last year. And it was so funny because I couldn't get the sticky stuff on the wall. And as I'm pulling the sticky stuff, he was pulling out things in my memory of what he's done this year. Just WAPN, 40 years old. Wow, 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 wow. In the same community, in the same building. Wow. Just the little things and the huge things. And I was like, you're right. My family is healthy. My grandchildren are thriving. My children are thriving. God healed Tim 3 years ago. And I am still in awe of what God did. And when everything is going great and everything, you feel great, you don't have any money problems, the car starts no problem, everybody shows up for work, the day goes great. You don't reflect. You don't. You just push on through, you just there, everybody showed up, it's a great day, blah, blah, blah. But when you're in the muck, when it's rough, when guys don't show up for work, when, the water breaks, when the tower gets hit, whatever it is, you then are a crazy person. I mean, it's so funny, Tim and I were talking about that. Now that we have fiber on the tower, for all the internet, we don't get hit by lightning like we used to get hit by lightning. And that was like a normal thing of owning a tower. It was it was just like a normal day of getting hit by lightning. We don't get hit by lightning anymore. Just you forget, because when God does it, you just go on. So I have loved today. I have reflected so much this morning, and I've just been excited to remember the goodness of the Lord, even to remember some of the struggles that were raw and real that I did not know personally. I know without God, I would have never made it through. I have no shadow of a doubt in my mind that without God, I wouldn't have made it through. But I had God, and I did make it through. And I've had to make some changes that personally I didn't know if I wanted to make. But God said, I need you to do this. And I argued with him. God and I have a love language. Yep. I have a name that he calls me. And I talk to God just like I talk to you. I'm raw and real. That should have been my middle name instead of Ann. It should have been raw and real, because I am raw and real. I'm not all polished, and I'm not holier than thou and all those different things, but I'm loyal. I am loyal, and I am reliable, and I will show up. And those are the qualities that God gave me. He gave each and every one of us something unique, something special. And I was even thinking about that, as I was writing something to one of my friends. My mother used to say everybody was special. And she meant it. She meant God made you special, uniquely made. And he has a purpose for you. Sometimes in the middle of all the muck and all the stuff and all the life, we forget our purpose. We forget that we're special. We forget that we're uniquely made. And I think that that's what hit me today when I was reflecting, and then I looked on that calendar and it was blank. Now my other calendar was full, and I have so many great things from 2025, and I'm excited for the things that he had me participate in and the things that he removed me from. And I was even thinking about next week, the recap that we're doing. I just was just loving it. But that hit me like a lead brick, that it was blank. And it's an intentional calendar. And then I thought, oh my gosh. And they said, you intentionally didn't write on it. And I thought, okay, you're right. You're totally right. I purposely didn't write on that because I didn't want to remember some of the things. But as I remembered some of the things, I saw the praise in those things. And so, woulda, coulda, shoulda, woulda. I didn't do it. I can go to the other calendar. I can go back in my phone. I can go back in my pictures, and I can reflect. And I'm so thankful for technology, and I'm so thankful for pictures, and I'm so thankful for all of those things. But I really think I needed that slap in the face today to say I intentionally didn't write it on there because I didn't want to remember. But actually, I needed to write on there, and I needed to remember because God brought me through. And he brought me through better than I ever expected to get through. And he brought me through with a new zeal. And he brought me through with a new excitement. And he brought me through with some new ideas. And as I'm sitting here and I'm thinking of all that, I even just looked down. And I have the little YouTube sticky on here that says, WAPN 91.5 FM YouTube. And then I have another sticky right here because I'm a sticky girl that says, I'm removing the iPad. You must learn the podcast equipment by the end of the month. And I giggled because I thought, yep, change is awkward. Change is uncomfortable. Change is weird. But if you don't intentionally make those changes, if you don't intentionally get up today and put one foot in front of the other, you're not going to move. You're just going to lay there. When I get up every morning, I'm praying for people, and then I praise the Lord for some stuff, and then I ask him, what are we going to do today? And some days, I might not hear it right then, but I hear it some during the day. And today I have heard it loud and clear. I am going to remember all the things of 2025. Good, bad, ugly, great, amazing, and all that. And praise the Lord that we made it through and look forward to what we're going to do in 2026. So be intentional on what God is showing you this morning. Be intentional on his plan and his purpose, and be intentional by showing up. That's one thing about me. I'll always show up with a smile on my face and ready to take it on. Well, let's get this day. Happy New Year. If you'd like to donate your last offering to WAPN for 2025, you can stop by the radio station, 1508 State Avenue. You can throw it through the mail slot, your dollars, your fives, your hundreds, your thousands, whatever you want to do. Go over to our website, WAPN.net. Click on Give Now with your last donation of 2025. We really, 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 really appreciate it. Our favor for today, the more you thank God for his favor, the more of his favor you'll see. Woo! I'm in agreement with that one. The more of his favor you will see. It was 33 when I was driving on into work this morning. They say the high is 56 and the low is 35, but my car said 33. It was cold. Thank goodness for heat. Madison's going to be 55 with a low of 31. If it's your birthday today, happy birthday, Michelle, Felicia, and everybody else celebrating a birthday, anniversary, whatever you're doing. Again, today is Happy New Year's Eve. Here's some places you could go celebrate tonight. Calvary Christian Center at 7 p.m. That's in Ormond Beach. Relevant Church on Bevel at 7 p.m. That's Pastor Chris Sarno. Butts Temple with Sam Butts is going to be at 11 p.m. tonight. Watch and serve night. So there's places that you can go and be with others tonight. Or like me, I'll be home, maybe in the hot tub. I don't know. Just reflecting on the goodness of God. Well, y'all, I am praying for you. as you pray for me. Y'all have a wonderful, happy new year, and I won't see you tomorrow morning. I'll see you Friday morning. I'm praying for you as you pray for me.